back in my days of being a disc jockey, you just hated endings like that. Because whoa, there it is. It's over.
You
All right.
didn't know to leave the studio to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why we always liked Inagata Davida. All righty. Good morning. Welcome to the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Scott. I will be your host for the next few minutes. Karen is, I believe, in some exotic faraway place, as are we. So let's move all of this around here. What have I got? Why do I have two sets of notes? Because one is from last week. There we go. We don't want that one anymore. Okay. I believe so. I learned from last time.
Yeah, can you turn it towards you more? Right now, we're hearing your elbow.
As unaccustomed as I am to microphones and speaking in public. Okay. All right, let's get things going here. We have a slide. Okay, we are all set to go. First of all, we will start by acknowledging the native lands on which we are located. The Eureka Center for Spiritual Living acknowledges that the land on which we gather is the ancestral territory of the Wiyot peoples. This territory extends to the communities throughout most of Humboldt County, and we honor the Wiyot peoples today, as we do every day. Okay, let's take a look let's get our opening affirmation going. Oh, there we go. Together we will all say the top part of this slide, and then you'll turn to somebody and say the bottom part with passion and enthusiasm, please. We are a welcoming community where the vibration of love lifts us, the wisdom of the ages inspires us, and the science of mind teaching empowers us. Turn to somebody else and say, I honor the path that brought you here this morning. So much honoring. Okay, let's see. Our weekly schedule, as you can see, is on the screen. All things taking place here. I have a couple of additional notes. I wanted to, it does say A Course in Miracles. So it says it right on the slide. There we go. Yeah, so quit pestering me. Burl wanted to make sure we announce that there is A Course of Miracles, and I wrote it down here, but it is there. Also, I just wanted to pass along that Edward's book signing of his book, Poet's Soul. Where are you, Edward? What's the name of the book again?
Oh, it's The Story of Reem.
Oh, The Story of Reem. Okay. We'll get that and the other book from which Edward's poem was based. That's going to be, he's doing a presentation at the Eureka Bookstore on Arts Alive. So we want to support Edward. There are cards to remind you. They are over there at the table. Arts Alive will be this coming Saturday from 6 to 8:30. He will be at the Eureka Bookstore, which is at 426 2nd Street. That's between E and F, and he has flyers at the table. Also, good news for Bosco. Donna, would you come up? And I'm really relieved about this because, yeah, I was going to say, thank goodness now my wife won't take him. So.
And thank you to Mark for also putting the word out with his sister, who's a huge animal advocate. Bosco has found a new home, and they're very happy. So thank you.
Yay, Bosco and his new cat house. Rick, I'm told that we can have you on. Where is everybody? Over there this time. Okay. Rick is going to talk about his class coming up, Once Upon a Tithe. You're welcome. I can't leave. No, I'm stuck.
You're my hostage. Two men crash a plane on a deserted island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. They both survive the crash. Then, just after their terrible ordeal, one of the men walks all over the entire island, comes to the conclusion there is no food or fresh water. He goes back to where his friend is to explain their predicament. I've searched this entire island and haven't found any food or water. We're going to die. The other man says, he's on the verge of dying. The other man says, oh, don't worry. I make $100,000 a week. We'll be fine. The other man says, yes, but don't you see? There's nothing to eat, and without water, we're doomed. Like I said, I make $100,000 each week. Don't worry, we'll be home in a day or two. Why in God's name do you keep saying that? How the heck is your money going to help us way out here? And the guy sits back and leans against the smashed plane. He says with a smile, every Sunday at church, I put my tithe of 10% from the $100,000 in the offering plate, like the good book instructs. My minister will find me. So I'll be giving a workshop called, as it says, Once Upon a Tithe, and everyone attends. We'll have a lot of fun and get one of these booklets. And I want to acknowledge Lori Richardson for funding the publication. This is the second edition of 100 booklets, so you'll get one when you come to the workshop. And I just want to ask one question. What do you think is the primary reason for tithing? Anybody? Lori?
To stay in the flow.
To stay in the flow. Good.
If I'm feeling a lack, I give more. And it keeps me in the flow. So I don't know if that makes any sense. But
That's real close to what I'm looking for. Anybody else? That's like the penultimate answer.
what goes around, I think it's just yeah.
Yeah, that is what that's how it works. And the primary reason is to increase your faith in God as the source of your supply. And that gives you peace of mind and supply. And so we're going to learn how that works. And hope to see you there. There's a sign-up sheet over there on the table. And thank you. And I'm sorry I overacted. It's in my blood.
Just breathe.
The other reason we tithe is in case any of us are ever trapped on a desert island, Angelica will find us. Okay, let's get that out of the way. We are looking, well, not as much anymore, but we still need help. We are looking for media people. As you can see on the slide, Marianne, my wife, and I have said that we'll take over, with Angelica's blessing and grace, the Facebook and Instagram accounts. So that part is now handled. Marianne, who is an expert in Instagram, assures us that by Wednesday we'll have 200,000 followers. But anyway, we still need help in other sections to help promote the center, sell items on eBay, Craigslist, etc. So if you would like to help out, please mention it to Angelica so she will know, because we can use more people to help get the word out here. Let's see here. SOAR at Asilomar. That is coming up in August. I had said I would like to be in it, but I got cast in a play, so I'm very happy about that. But you are not in the play. Please, if you can make it, go to Asilomar. Our bookstore continues. Every week I laugh at this. For our prosperity books are $1 off this month. But get whatever books you would like. Help support the center. We also need help with the little pantry. It goes through very quickly. It needs to be fed with regularity. So please bring food on Monday from noon to 4, or just put it in the little pantry. We want non-perishable food. With that out of the way, let's get to this current month. This is the last week of our theme of embracing self-care. The next month's theme, as a sneak preview, is called Letting It All Go to Hell. So anyway, in the last week of embracing self-care, a couple of things. It also is the last week of Pride Month. And I found this interesting, that on this date, June 25th, 1978, the artist Gilbert Baker, an openly gay man and a drag queen, designed the very first rainbow flag. So it started on this date in 1978, just as a little bit of FYI. The first versions of the rainbow flag were flown on this date in San Francisco. He made them by hand. However, because of production issues, the pink and turquoise stripes that were originally in it were removed, and indigo was replaced by basic blue, which resulted in what we have today. It was not until '94, however, that the rainbow flag was truly established as a symbol for LGBTQ pride. So just a reminder for our LGBTQ community. And as we talk about embracing self-care, I spoke at the Louisville Center for Spiritual Living about a week or so ago via Zoom. Flew out there in the morning, was back by afternoon. And as part of my presentation, I prepared for them, which they liked, something called Embracing Self-Care. It's 101 ways to take care of yourself that are all very simple. A lot of this was, I posted on a Facebook group. I said, how do you take care of yourself? And people responded. So if you would like a list of 101 ways to take care of yourself, the flyers are at the table. There are some fun ones in there. There are things like sing a favorite song, use a wooden spoon for a microphone. That always makes it better. Say I love you to the person in the mirror and mean it. Other ideas, all very simple. Okay, I think with that.
Excuse me. They're still out there. They're safe. Okay, that should do it.
Thank you. I didn't want to make. I did not want to make any comments about droopy microphones. Okay, let's move forward. We'll just let that one drop. Next up, we're going to have Angelica come up and lead us in the chant, and then I'll be back after that to do the contemplative meditation.
What's the story on the flowers?
I'll tell you. Yesterday afternoon, we held Karen Jolly's daughter's memorial, and they brought all these flowers. And I was surprised, I mean, there's some over there too. I was surprised to see that they were still here because they're so beautiful. I thought they would have taken them home. Because we won't be using the room until next Sunday, if you want some flowers, please take some. Karen isn't here for me to ask her if that's okay. Yes, Bev?
I think she was planning on coming here this morning, but yesterday it may have been physically too much for her to get back here today.
Do you think they want the flowers back?
They were gonna take some of them, I don't know. I can give her a call before the end of the service or something.
Okay, do that. And then we'll know whether then you can let us know at the end. All right. And I also want to welcome the Zoomers. Thank you very much for being with us this morning. So I don't know have we figured out how to get a picture of us waving at them yet? Oh, let's wave at the Zoomers. We honor the path that you're on this morning, that brought you here this morning. So thank you very much for being here. And now we're going to do this. Now we're going to do this chant. And I want to change it up every month. So if you have a favorite chant that you like, one of you can be the chant leader for next month before the contemplative. So talk to me afterwards. Will you put the words up there? Nope, not that one. Backwards. There. Oh, technology is so much fun. Are we ready to take a breath? Breathe into the heart of me, ah. Breathe into the heart of me, ah. Spirit inside me, I call on you to guide me. Breathe into the heart of me, ah. Breathe into the strength of me, ah. Breathe into the strength of me, ah. Spirit inside me, I call on you to guide me. Breathe into the strength of me, ah. Breathe into the faith of me, ah. Breathe into the faith of me, ah. Spirit inside me, I call on you to guide me. Breathe into the strength of me, ah. welcome Scott back to do our contemplative.
Our month, the theme, as we said, is embracing self-care. So our contemplative meditation I took from the book Mind Over Medicine, Scientific Proof You Can Heal Yourself by Lisa Rankin. She's a doctor. It had a slightly different slant. I hope you'll appreciate it the way that I did. After I read it, there'll be a moment of silence, and then Jackson will sing us out, and I'll come back and end with the treatment. From Lisa Rankin. I believe that while we hold within us the power to make changes in our life designed to foster the body's ability to self-repair, we must accept that when it comes right down to it, we have no guarantees as to whether or not we will stay sick or get well. You can do everything. You can do everything right and still wind up dying. In fact, it's guaranteed that we will all face this inevitable fate at some point in our lives. You can also do nothing and experience spontaneous remission. Too often, those who make a radical commitment to self-healing feel like failures if their diseases don't disappear. But why go there? Who are we to know what the universe has in store for us? How can we anticipate what lessons we're here on earth to learn and what life challenges we need to face in order to learn them? Perhaps some of us are meant to be sick so we can learn what our soul longs to learn and model how to weather illness with grace. The grace comes in fighting until it's time to stop fighting and appreciating every step of the journey, even when it doesn't go our way.
Be still in quiet and in peace. We know the joy and wonder of release in the place within. All troubles disappear. In this secret place there is no doubt or fear. Be still and know that faith has made us whole. Renewed are we in spirit and in soul. The light of truth within shines forth that we may see perfect peace is ours eternally.
I say this treatment in the first person so each of us can hear it within. I am grateful for the knowledge and the awareness that there is one unlimited, divine, unending, unbounded, benevolent power that is the universal mind, that is the universe, and that is each of us. I know that this force that is so powerful and so right cannot make a mistake. And knowing that, I accept whatever comes to me with grace, with curiosity, with awareness, and with a sense of wonder, knowing it is all part of the path that I am on as a spiritual being, simply experiencing what it is like to be a human. I know that even when things do not appear to be as I would like them to be, all is unfolding in the greatest good and in the due and proper order. And for that, I am incredibly grateful, and I accept all that happens with joy and with gratitude. And I release these words into the universe, knowing that they are already happening at all times and always will. And again, I am grateful. And so it is.
Be still and know that faith has made us whole. Renewed are we in spirit and in soul. The light of truth within shines forth that we may see. Perfect peace is ours eternally.
Thank you, Jackson. Now welcome to the platform, Reverend Angelica.
Thank you very much. I feel like I'm at some sort of press conference or something now. It's like, whoa. Before I begin my talk this morning, when Scott was reading that piece from Dr. Rankins, I had to laugh because the flash that went through my head was my teacher, Reverend Helen Street, going, everybody thinks they're at school, and they think that they have to learn lessons. And the truth is, we're at recess. And I really liked that. I remember Tag, my husband, my late husband, drew a cartoon of somebody standing at the pearly gates and St. Peter saying, "Welcome to recess." And it was actually here, here in this dimension. So we're ending our self-care month, and as I've been saying all month, true self-care is really about self with a capital S, that higher self that we talk about. And what I know is that as we take care of this higher self, that everything we want to manifest, and even more if we absolutely realize this, can come about. Emotionally and materially, etc. The whole idea here this morning is about personalizing the infinite. Personalizing it. I remember as a little girl in Catholic school, I lived at a convent for quite a while in my youth, and we learned about God out there. God was in heaven. And I remember at one point always being interested in, the sky and things like that. And I can't remember whether we had shot off a rocket or whatever, but I remember asking one of the nuns, well, do you think they saw God? Because they went up really high in the heavens, right? And, the class laughed, and I didn't mean it to be funny. I figured if God is up in heaven and these, sooner or later we were going to get to that height and we were going to be able to see the kingdom that had streets paved with gold and, all of that stuff that you hear as a kid. So personalization, to me, is taking ownership of the idea that God is not just out there, it's absolutely everywhere. And as I say this, I think this is what I'm saying 52 weeks a year, is God is absolutely everywhere. There is no spot where God is not. I mean, you might think that, okay, everything's God, etc., but it goes like this, it avoids you. It leaves a little pocket for you to exist in. And that's not true. The truth is, this self, the self that is running every cell in your body, the self that is running your emotions, that's running your heart, that's running everything here to make it possible for us to live in this dimension as an individual entity, is spirit. And I loved it when I started learning about quantum physics, because at the bottom of everything, many of the scientists are saying that, well, maybe it's God, because it's everywhere present. That's the three things they say about God, right? It's omnipresent, which means it's everywhere present. It's omniscient, which means it knows everything, and it's omnipotent, which means all-powerful. What if I believed that was within me? What if I could personalize this idea of the divine, take this unknowable, infinite idea, and personalize enough of it so that I remembered who I really am? What if you did that? What do you think would be different in your life? I believe that we would walk through our lives now, probably as the allegorical Adam and Eve walked through the Garden of Eden. We would be looking at everything with childlike amazement. Everything. Even if we had seen it many times before. I would play a game with myself a little bit a few months ago where I was working with this idea of coming to everything with childlike awe and wonder. And so every time I drove into my parking space in front of my house, I just have this area for parking 2 cars, and across the front of my house I have all these pots of flowers. Every time I drove in there, I took a breath and looked at it as if it was the first time I had seen it. It was amazing, the different things that I saw. The different flowers. I have all these pots, probably 20 pots of flowers there. These different flowers would do different things. There was even a redwood tree growing in one of my big pots. It was like, where did that come from, But, and I would see things. I live right next door to Cutting School's playground. Unfortunately, they never pick up after themselves, so candy wrappers and pieces of paper end up in my yard all the time. So I'd let myself be amazed at all of that instead of being angry, or why don't they pick up after themselves, right? And it was a very interesting way to live in that consciousness. The consciousness of a child. A really smart child, but a child. So we think of ourselves as being an individual entity here in this dimension, and yet the truth is we're a cell in the body of the divine. We're just another part of the body of the divine. So to personalize this possibility of infinity, we have to realize that we're one with the universe, as I just said. So I have some ideas for us. The first one, of course, being we are one with the universe. This is the unifying of the spiritual and the physical. As you unify those two attributes of yourself, the emotional body automatically comes down the line. So you realize your spirit, and that spirit, even though you might pray to something out there sometimes, spirit is really within you. It's like spirit praying to itself. So any higher force that you could imagine is you. It's in you. So there's nothing that's impossible. If you think that something is too hard for God, then it will be. Because this, right here, is the emanation or the individualization of God. So if I'm thinking that, oh no, that's too hard for God to do, then I won't achieve what it is that I want to achieve. But if I remember that nothing is impossible for God, then I might get an inkling that nothing is impossible for me either. You know, who was it? Margaret Mead that said, you know, never, I'm going to make a mess of this quote. Something about the fact that that a small amount of people can do large things.
Never underestimate the power of a small group of people.
Yeah, that's good. That's what I was looking for.
Dedicated to changing the world.
Yeah, definitely. What are you doing?
It's not connected.
How dare you say I'm not connected? Dr. Holmes says, the infinite is personal to every soul that believes in the infinite. That's in the Science Mind book. The infinite is personal to every soul that believes in the infinite. So this leads me to my second idea, and that is, it's our thoughts that are controlling the personalization of the infinite. It's whatever we're thinking, whatever we're believing. When we start thinking like the powerful, unlimited being that we actually are, we ensure that our beliefs match this idea that we are a personalization of the infinite. So, you know, at one point in my life I thought, well, you know, this is a really easy philosophy to follow. All you have to do is think a thing and it'll be so. And then I remembered, oh yeah, wait a minute. What am I predominantly thinking? Like right now, what might I be predominantly thinking about our country and the politics involved in our country? Am I thinking, wow, I love living in America. This is such a wonderful place. We're so full of harmony. Or am I going, what do you mean he said that? Or something like that. I quit watching the news, so I don't really do that much anymore. Though I didn't quit it totally, I still watch Rachel Maddow because she brings in history. That's Monday nights. But I realized that the thoughts that I'm having make me littler than I actually am. They make me see myself as less than the truth, and that's truth with a capital T. So I want to allow myself to really pay attention to what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling. So yes, this teaching is an easy teaching, but it's also hard. It's simple, but it's hard. because I don't care how old we are, we get mesmerized by the news, by advertising, by things around us all the time. And we begin to start believing in them. I mean, look how fast COVID spread across the world. I'm not saying I'm not into any of the, weird stories around it. I'm just noticing, I noticed how fast it was discovered and then it spread. And it spread because we were being told about it 24 hours a day for months. And so we bought into it. Now, for those of you who had it, there's nothing wrong with any experience that we have as a human being. I'm not going to say necessarily that we're lessons, but they could just be because we bought into a story. For instance, if you're looking at any of the stories that say, oh, the country's going toward a depression because inflation is too high and the only thing that could happen is to go the other direction, well, guess what? We're going to experience a sense of depression in our own financial lives. That's why you should take Rick's class. But all of it is a story that we're making up, moment by moment, second by second. And so why not write this story with good endings, with every single little experience that we have, having it be a good ending? Dr. Holmes says about the personalness of God, we should think of God not only as a principle forever pushing forward into expression, but as an infinite person. In other words, if we merely think of an abstract principle and a mathematical law of cause and effect, we shall lose all warmth and color. We should be very careful in abstracting the principle not to forget the essence. There is something in the human mind that desires to think of God or Spirit as person. Anything which has been in the human mind since time began, anything we are unable to erase from the human mind as a deep urge, arises out of reality, and that he capitalized the word reality. Let us not forget that there is an inherent necessity for warmth and color. The universe is more than an inexorable law of cause and effect. And he has this in all capital letters. Personality cannot emerge from a principle which does not contain the inherent possibility of personality. So, in each one of us, to each one of us, through each one of us, something is personalized, and that which is personalized is personal to its own personification. Spiritual evolution should make the infinite not more distant, but more intimate. More intimate. Throughout my life, I've been on a spiritual path since I was a kid. I mean, I've told you that in Catholic school, I told the nuns and my classmates all the time, I'm going to be a priest. And of course, women aren't priests in the Catholic Church, though now they are in the Episcopal Church, though there's also a Christian denomination that suddenly said, no, women can't be priests, and took it away from all their female priests, which is like, what? However, that desire that made me say that as a kid was the desire for a more intimate experience with this thing that is infinitely, unconditionally loving. My third idea is that doubt is detrimental to infinite personalization. In other words, we have to begin right now to remove all doubts from our mind. If you look at yourself in the mirror, remember when Louise Hay really made mirror work popular? Well, I remember doing that mirror work and, going to my bathroom mirror and looking into my eyes and being afraid. Afraid that I was going to find something that was negative. I was going to find a bad person in there. And as I continued to do the work, I realized that that's something that happens to a lot of people. So as long as we're in doubt about who the truth of us is, we're going to experience things like that fear. As I continued to do it, I started feeling, looking at myself in the mirror and saying, "Hi, God." Or actually, at that time I was saying, "Aloha Uhane." Do you know what my Hawaiian name is that was given to me years ago? It's Pua Iwai Uhane, which means, it actually means flowering water of spirit. When my teacher gave me that name, it was like, I don't know. I really felt like it was too much. And she says, "You'll grow into it." Very simply. And so this is what we're doing in this teaching, is we're growing into our real self. We're growing into an understanding, letting go of the doubts, letting go of the fears, and growing into this understanding of everywhere I look, I see the face of God, whether it's in my mirror or in the eyes of the people that are around me, whether it's in a building or an insect or an animal or the ocean or whatever it is that you're looking at the face of God with the face of God, with the eyes of God. And this is where we want to get to. We want to get to that place where we feel that unconditional love within us that is God. We want to get to that place where we recognize that there is nothing in this world that we have to experience. Where we realize what we're actually doing is choosing to experience. And if it's something that doesn't feel good, we might not be consciously thinking, "Oh, well, I want to have cancer." But we might be thinking, everybody my age is starting to get cancer. Opening a little door for that to happen in our own experience. I know that we do not have to experience anything that's uncomfortable. In fact, when Scott was reading that article about the lessons that we're here to learn, I decided years ago that I want my lessons to be gentle, easy, and humorous. And I planted that seed in my mind, and so that's the way I get them. I get them in weird ways that just make me laugh. So don't doubt. What did I say? Remember that we're one with the universe. Remember that your thoughts are controlling the personalization of the universe. And let yourself let go of doubt. To harness our full potential, there has to be a complete acceptance of this truth of the omnipresence of the divine, and that energy is within you. It's never going to leave. Even when we leave these bodies, we're still an emanation of the divine. And I'm so grateful for having this teaching. I'm so grateful for finding it at a young age. And yes, I've gone through sad times and I've gone through hardships, not very many though. Sad times, yes, but not very many hardships. But I've been comforted by the divine comforter, that powerful presence of spirit. So let's see our affirmation. Take a breath. God's infinite goodness is always alive in me and as my life. And I want to thank Jack Hall for doing the affirmations for us this month. And let's go into prayer. First and foremost, I acknowledge the one. The one power, the one life, the one heart, the one mind, one. And then I recognize that I am part of this oneness, that there is no spot where God is not. This one life is my life. This one mind is the mind that I'm using. This one heart is the heart behind my heart, that amazing experience of unconditional love. So as we've gone through this month of self-care, I know that not only are we doing it on the physical level, allowing ourselves to honor these wonderful earth suits, but we're allowing ourselves to have a greater appreciation for that divine presence that is our very life. And I know for us this week, as we move through the week, that each one of us has an experience of a deeper sense of knowing the truth of our being. And I know that we're open to this experience. We let go of all doubts. We know, and we know that we know, that absolutely everything is divine. And we're so grateful to know this. We're so grateful to be a part of this wonderful, amazing experience. This experience of being a spiritual being having a human experience. And I know that there is that within us that has never forgotten who we really are. And so we celebrate that with every fiber of our being. And we're so grateful. And so I release these words into divine law, knowing that they are already so. And so it is. Donna, let's welcome Donna up this morning.
I want to thank Daniel Nahon for this rendition. He is a New Thought musician, songwriter that finds all kinds of difficult ways to write timing. So appreciate Jackson for his work. unites us all as one. Life is a gift we share and cherish every day. Peace is our heartfelt prayer. Joy is found most everywhere. Power is the knowledge that our precious dreams will always find their way. And beauty is in every rock and flower, in everything, every day. God is light, and so are we. God is love, and so are we. God is truth, and so are we. This truth, it cannot be denied. God is power, and so are we. God is peace, and so are we. God is beauty and joy, and so are we. It's the truth of ourself. It's the truth of all humankind. God is love, and so are we. God is light, and so are we. God is power, and so are we. This truth we cannot deny. God is beauty, so are we. God is peace, and so are we. God is beauty and joy, so are we. It's the truth of ourself, the truth of all humankind. Namaste.
Donna, is there a choir rehearsal today?
There is.
Okay, I made a note to ask, and I just did. Thank you, Donna. That was absolutely beautiful, very touching. Let's move forward with the remainder of our service. First of all, what we are going to need is we are going to pass the plate. Please donate what you can. Certainly donate whatever you do donate with love. And what I need are a couple of volunteers to... Something is happening here. And what it is ain't exactly clear. All right, we have our volunteers, and we have Buffalo Springfield. All righty, so together we will say, I gratefully give from the fullness of my abundance, knowing my gift blesses this center, all in it and beyond, and so it is. And up on the screen is where you can also make donations. Knowing all there is energy, and energy exists in every form that we can possibly imagine, we accept these gifts, these donations to the center, knowing it is another form of energy that will go forth into our community and into the world with our thoughts, with our love, knowing all is good. And this money, these donations, and this spiritual contribution will help improve the world for all who touch it and all beyond. And for that, we are grateful, and I say, and so it is. So talk to Angelica real quickly. We're going to bring back something that we used to do, and I think we'll do it. Let's see here. Yeah, we're going to need a volunteer in a moment to read the community statement of inclusion. So if you would like to do that, please get ready to read. We have it up here. And after that, what we're going to do is we're going to bring back what we used to do prior to COVID, is we would have demonstrations. So not like vacuum cleaner demonstrations or things. But if something has happened to you that has been for you a demonstration of of your faith, we will take room for 2 or 3 people to share those, and we'll do that after the community statement of inclusion. I'll start with one in a minute. That would happen to my sister. But with that in mind, do I have a volunteer who is willing to read? And you have a tough act to follow, because last week Olivia kicked it right out of the park. Lauren, you're back. Lorna. Why did I say Lauren? It's never mind. If you didn't hear it, it's better.
Community Statement of Inclusion and Affirmation. We, the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living, are a community that celebrates diversity, fosters inclusion, champions inner work, and creates space for brave, vulnerable conversations. We are a community that honors the unique emanation of God that each person embodies, and advocates with people for human rights and dignity for all. We are a community that blesses each other, sees sacredness in all life, remains learners and listeners so we may grow together, and understand that oneness is not sameness. We know our beloved community is revealed more fully when we love each other well.
Okay, so demonstrations. If you have a short demonstration, before I ask Donna to lead us in the song, an example would be, as many of you know, in February of this year, I produced a play called Never After Happily that was written by my sister, co-directed by her. And as much as I loved it, it'll be one of the high points of my life. I've been moving on to other assignments, just enjoying that. My sister's been having a difficult time. She really, really misses that play, and we had a conversation where she's been trying to force it to happen and figure out ways to bring all the people together again, and I suggested to her, I said, just let go, the universe will take care of it, and she reluctantly said, okay, I'm sure it'll happen. The next day, she got a call from a theater in Los Angeles, which is where she lives, saying they will give the theater to her for free in January if she will produce Never After Happily down there. So that is a demonstration. Yours might not be theatrical, they might be smaller or larger, but do I have 1 or 2 other people? Yes, Edward, if you would come up and share on the mic.
Okay. Very briefly, short version. In 2019, I contracted colon cancer, and this year it came back. I go to UCSF for treatments. I've had now 5 reactions to the chemo, so the chemo no longer is an option for me. During the last bout, I suffered 6, now 7, well, actually 6 heart attacks. On the last one, I was actually non-responsive, and the doctors and my wife tell me I was gone for about a minute or so on Earth time. During that time, I was in a place where I was surrounded by darkness, but I could see panoramic. You know, I could see everything around me. I was visited by my mother, my father, and my wife's mother and father and I had never met her father. And they told me basically that everything was going to be fine, don't give up, because I had, and go back. And I did so. I went back, and the doctors now tell me that my my cancer, even though it's now in my lymph system, which should spread rapidly through my body, has not. It has stayed where it was, and they believe that when I go for surgery, possibly next month, they'll be able to cut it out, and I'll be cancer-free.
We say in practitioner training that sometimes a manifestation starts out by simply hoping there'll be a parking spot in front of where you're going. So we take small demonstrations also. Is anybody else would like to make a quick demonstration or talk about a quick demonstration? And we're going to be doing this every week. So start looking for them because they're everywhere. Okay, we are demonstration free for the rest of the service. With that said and done, Donna, if you would come up and lead us in our final song.
Please stand. This is you. Really you. How marvelous, how wonderful the universal love has manifested here in you and me. I look at you and see in you the God potential there. This is the real you in reality. So let the infinite love shine through. This is you, really you. Believe God's love is the heart of you. Wait no longer to know that it's true. How marvelous, how wonderful the universal love has manifested here in you and me.